The Voice of the Spirit, Murdo MacDonald-Bayne. On sitting down to write this letter, I opened the Bible at Proverbs, chapter 8, and this caught my eye. Is it not wisdom calling, knowledge raising her voice? On the high ground by the roadside, in the streets she takes her stand, by the gateways opening to the city, at the entries, she is crying out, O men, I am calling to you, my appeal is to all men. What we all need is an intelligent conception of our being. To live we must create. There is no alternative, for this is the law of nature, and we must encourage the voice of the Spirit which forces upon us the full recognition of itself. If we fail to do this, we are forced into conditions and circumstances until we do give this recognition. The noblest guide is the voice of the Spirit, intuition, and it is by cultivating and perfecting this that we arrive at our goal, and when we arrive we find that we are the embodiment of Spirit itself. Then all the little struggles, the little turmoils and disturbances do not affect us. Although they have their value, they do not close out the voice of the Spirit. The way to cultivate the voice is to be intensely interested in life and in all the things around us. Imitation has nothing to do with it. We must be alive. So each one of us has to be an artist who creates for himself or herself, because we have been thrilled with the glimpse of the vision of reality. You will find that all great men and women are in themselves great teachers. They have lost that sense of exclusiveness and have gained that sense of all-inclusiveness that makes up all life. They embody all things and are part of all things. It is not that we should make ourselves fit into any mold not of our own making, nor should we allow ourselves to become stereotyped following the one path. We must see all paths, otherwise we become limited, conforming to a pattern. This is fatal to the development of perfect intuition, yet we must never forget that we shall all meet in the kingdom of heaven, for this is our home. The great hindrance to the true voice of intuition is that we think ourselves different from other people. We treat the world outside as something apart from ourselves. So we become exclusive, thus we destroy with limitation instead of creating through intuition. Intuition cannot err. It is when we follow and try to copy ideas of others that we go wrong. I can advise you of the principle involved, but to have intuition you must obey the voice yourselves. You must develop your own intuition. Most people are hiding behind the veil that hides the truth. They have beliefs which they cannot respond to wholeheartedly. This is being aimlessly swept along the path of another. In this way we will never find new avenues of experience for ourselves, for it is we ourselves who must listen to the voice. Intuition is the whisper of the Spirit. Therefore, to hear this voice there must be harmony of the emotions and the mind. Only under these conditions can the true self express itself. We must have strong feelings of love and kindness. A person with no feelings is useless. It is the person who is hard, indifferent, that cannot create or construct. There is no true creative ability when we are limited and bound in our own ignorance. A great lover is never a small person. There is something wonderful in the expression of love and kindness. The more feelings we have, the better. The idea that we should have no feelings or emotions is absurd and unspiritual. The more we are bubbling over with feeling, the better. We must direct the energy of our emotions into constructive channels. Otherwise we wander away on the bypaths instead of on the main highway. We must go out and be adventurous. But in that adventurous spirit we must know where we are going, not wandering aimlessly along in the wake of another. To be alive we must have our mind and emotions alive all day long, active, not dormant. The Spirit is creative, it is action itself. Interest comes to those who are truly civilized. Even if we have been mellowed by experience and suffering through years of wrong application of our creative power, this should not now deter us but make us more eager, more interested, for the only way we can follow the voice is through enthusiasm for the whole of life. If we have this enthusiasm, we will find that this voice of the Spirit that is restless in us for experience will become our guide and friend and the only authority in our lives. Then we will find ourselves one with all things, and as we obey the Spirit, so we will find that all nature will obey us. She is virtually at our command. But first of all we must have the capacity to lose the sense of the separate self, for in separation there is limitation, conflict, and sorrow. The nearer we are to this truth, the nearer we are to the Creator of all things. It is only the separate self, this division which the self creates, that stands in the way. To hear the voice we must be on the alert, even if we have to grope at first, until our interest and enthusiasm is awakened, then our vision will be clear and strong and the flame of genius burns within us. A genius is one who sees his goal and whose enthusiasm is ever alive. The only struggle is to keep the vision undimmed by the petty things of life, by family and worldly troubles. The ordinary person is smothered by the world and cannot see the way or hear the voice. He succumbs to his environment and loses the power to create with nature the beauty and harmony of life. As we read on in Proverbs, it says, "O heedless souls, learn insight, O foolish folk, learn sense. Listen, for I have a weighty message, my lips open with right words, I utter what is true, false lips I loathe, all I say is honest, with nothing in it false or wrong, 'tis all plain to a man of sense, and true for those who are intelligent. Choose instruction rather than silver, and knowledge rather than rare gold, for wisdom is better than rubies, no treasure is equal to her." In reading this verse in Proverbs, the prophet understood the true meaning of the spirit, life, which in itself is everything, so the foolish separate and destroy while the wise unite with reality to create. Be a world lover, then we must be for everyone, only in this way can the beautiful in others be awakened. The more we have lit the light of genius in ourselves, the more shall we be able to understand and serve. Service and love are the pillars we must have to make our structure secure. When we understand the great Master and live in his world, we will also give to the world that eternal beauty that is seen from the mountain top of realization. Yet we must live in the valleys as well, because we can only be great when we can become as humble as the babe, for there is the life in its purity. In this may we find true culture. We can only hear the voice clearly when we have this culture, this interest, this enthusiasm. Pay attention to all things physical, mental, and spiritual. Our physical well-being is the reflection of our spiritual being. To take an interest in the body is as much spiritual as to take an interest in our soul, for one clothes the other. This all tends to our true culture. We must get that perfect refinement and sense of culture, spiritual, mental and physical, for one is the reflection of the other. It is the attitude that we create through understanding that counts, not what class we are in, or what religion we belong to or what type we belong to. These are but distinctions and divisions and are only temporary things in a passing world. Beware of the pitfall of virtues and their opposites, either is of little value to one who is struggling. Hell and the devil are as barren as the wilderness to a struggling soul. Remember yourself when you were struggling. What was it that helped you most? Proof of the existence of the presence of God in yourself. Then give it to others in similar circumstances. Lose yourselves in others and yet retain your own vision, the voice of intuition. Benediction. I hear thy voice calling me to come out of my dream of separation and weakness. I hear thee beckon me to grow and spread my wings of eternal power in thee. I hear thee calling me to realize that all is thine and to know that all is also mine. Thou hast created me in everything everywhere, and as I serve thee, thou hast promised to serve me. Thy voice is the delight of my heart, O Infinite One. My peace and my love remain with you. Yours sincerely, 𝗦 MacDonald-Bayne.